ProWrestlingSheet.com.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Collider Body Slam SmackDown Live Recap. Look, I changed my shirt, so you know I watched it. I'm ready to talk about it fresh and new. I am your host, John Rocha. So much to talk about. Ryan Satin texted me. I came out of the Fantastic Beasts 2 screening. He's like, I got stuff to say about SmackDown. I was not happy, so we're going to go all through the matches and talk about it overall. Ryan Satin, how are you, brother?
This is the only time, since we've started doing this show.
Yeah.
These recaps, this is the only time I have not been looking forward to doing one of these recap shows.
Wow.
Maybe I'm in the minority here with my opinions. I don't know. I tend to be sometimes. Well, at least with the vocal crowd, I'm the opposite of them. But
right.
I just hated so many things about this show. And
hate is a strong word. Hate it.
I mean,
all right.
I tend to be pretty positive, I think, when it comes to the storylines.
Between the two of us, you're more positive.
I feel that way.
Yeah.
People all the time, apologist, all that kind of stuff. But I like WWE, so I don't know, you know. But there were, I mean, and maybe I shouldn't say the whole show I hated so much, but man, I just, it was just, there were just two baffling things to me on this show. And I feel like what they were trying to do with this show was to create new interest in Survivor Series because of the fact that Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey wasn't going to happen.
Right.
But for me, it did the exact opposite. Like, I was already excited for AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think losing Becky versus Ronda was going to kill the entire show for me to where they needed this giant course correction.
Yeah.
And I just really didn't enjoy the end of the show at all.
So you're like, you guys did a 5-hour meeting and you made me, and this is what you came up with? This is what you came up with?
I don't think it was. Maybe it was because I was in a bad mood from that. But I went back and even rewatched it because I watched it when I was here in the office.
Yeah.
And then I stayed a little later. I did it while I was here in the office and watched it here in the office. And then, I watched a little when I got home as well, and I still hated it. I tweeted my hate, and then I started working, and when I went back to my Twitter page, I had 600 replies back, and I was like, okay, guess I was in the minority here. So you're not alone in liking it, Rocha. I just... Whole show, bad taste in my mouth.
All right, interesting. Well, let's start off. AJ Styles comes out, does his whole thing, starts talking about things. Then Paul Heyman comes out and interrupts him. Has some issues with with this whole thing. He's going to face Lesnar. AJ saying that he's never beaten Lesnar and he's beaten everybody else down the thing, and he's excited to fight him again. And talks about how long he's had the belt. And then, like I said, Paul Heyman interrupts, talking about what he's going to do, blah blah blah. Lesnar's going to do, and then Daniel Bryan shows up, and Daniel Bryan, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Daniel Bryan is going heel, which is weird timing because his wife went heel. They could have gone heel together, but I guess they were in the middle of the Miz Maurice thing, so they couldn't quite go heel. So this is all very strange to me overall.
Do you feel like he was playing full heel right here in the beginning?
I feel like he was setting up for it by saying, there was just such an anger in Bryan's face when he said, "Keep my name out of your mouth," and if you say my name again, and AJ seemed a bit like, what's this all about? And then to goad it, he said his name, and when it popped off and fights, and Shane came down, they were separated, and then they cut to them in the back, and they were going at it again in the back. But I thought that, I'm just shocked by this because wasn't he just the face against this whole thing with Miz? Now all of a sudden he's a heel. Why is this decision being made?
And it almost in a way, and we haven't gotten to the full heel turn yet, but going this direction, it almost makes it sound like Miz was right.
Yeah.
So in essence here, you're kind of turning one of your most natural heels on the roster face, which I don't understand. I don't think Miz needs any sort of face run. I don't think anyone's going to want to see a face run from The Miz.
Yeah.
It's just he's such a natural heel. That's just me. I don't see it. And with Daniel Bryan, it's
It seems manufactured.
It's just so manufactured. Like, no, I don't think most people look at Daniel Bryan and go, that guy seems like a dick. Even and look, I watched Whole Divas. I know he acts like he can kind of rub people the wrong way on there and stuff. But Daniel Bryan is one of the most natural baby faces that has such an organic story that writes itself. That I completely don't understand the want to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like heel and face turns, and I know that I'm slowly trying to get my best with getting over the heel face dynamic of where, like, it seems like WWE on the main roster doesn't care about heels and faces, you know, and so these heel and face turns are almost inconsequential to certain points. It's just more of like a character shift or whatever. But I just feel like there's so much more to do with Daniel Bryan as a face. The big moment of Daniel Bryan winning the world title again should have been an epic WrestleMania moment of Daniel Bryan finally, after 2 years of being away from the ring or whatever, fought every day to come back for us, for everyone.
Yeah.
How do you not use that storyline? I just don't understand it. It's baffling to me. It's baffling to me. It's like it writes itself.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan is an actual hero. Like, not a hero. I say that.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan is an actual inspirational person. That's a better way of wording it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Daniel Bryan is an inspirational dude. Daniel Bryan did everything to get his dream back because it was taken from him.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand how now, after we all saw his public battle, why they'd waste on SmackDown a throwaway SmackDown before Survivor Series, what could have been a giant WrestleMania moment.
Yeah. So, and what happens here? Does Daniel Bryan now face?
Lesnar. It's Daniel versus Lesnar, which also, okay, I feel like we're skipping ahead here, but I'm so fired up about it.
Yeah.
But, like, I've been wanting to see Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar for a long time.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan's been saying he wants it.
Yeah.
It's, he's talked about his strategy that he's already thought about in his head. It's a thing that Daniel Bryan has talked about multiple times, similar to, like, Matt Riddle saying he wants to retire Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Like, they're along the same lines, except Daniel Bryan's was longer of a mission to get this match.
Yeah.
Something that people really wanted for a long time, much longer than the Matt Riddle thing. But after all this time, so now we're gonna get heel Daniel Bryan versus heel Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get, who are we cheering for in this match?
Right, because if the issue was Daniel Bryan versus AJ is face versus face, so you had to somebody heel, why do you turn Daniel Bryan heel, give him the belt, and then have him face Lesnar as a heel versus heel situation over there? Did you think that they think that the AJ and Lesnar is going to sell as powerfully as Daniel Bryan versus Lesnar, and because they already have to make the adjustment with Charlotte versus Ronda? Do you think that was the reason they went this route? Because to me, it's like I think AJ and Lesnar is exciting. Yes, AJ kind of tipped his hand a little bit by saying they had done it already last year and it didn't come out successful from that situation. But do you think this is maybe to get more people?
Well, I think it's twofold. One, it's I think that were trying to do like what they did last year with Jinder Mahal when they hyped that it was going to be Jinder Mahal versus Brock, but then at the last second, AJ beat Jinder and became champion, and then it became Brock versus AJ.
Yeah.
I feel like they were trying to do a similar fun, like, hey, look, it happened again. You never know what's going to happen or whatever type stuff. When Survivor Series season comes along, like, you never know what's going to happen. Everyone wants to be at the top of their brand for brand supremacy, and I feel like that's what they were trying to get there.
Right.
I also do think that it had to have been I know that I've seen reports from Meltzer that it wasn't a rush thing, that wasn't a decision they've made, but I haven't heard that. To me, when you watch it, it seems like they were like, shit, we've lost a marquee match on the show. How do we divert attention away from that?
Yeah.
And give ourselves a new thing to kind of entice people.
Right.
I think this was their plan, and I just think it was a bad plan.
Yeah, I found it odd that Shane was like, all right, now you guys fight for the title. Wait, what? Like, what?
What?
We're about to
We have a pay-per-view this weekend.
Yeah, we have a pay-per-view this weekend. We're about to captain a Survivor Series. Why in the hell are we now going to have these two guys fight for the title? It just makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
So it was just very, very strange. The promo was great. I just thought the idea that they were going to fight for a title was a little weird.
I thought the promo was good too, and it was very telegraphed from the beginning that it was like when they started making all these shifts and all of a sudden Daniel Bryan was off the team just because he won a title shot.
Right.
It was like, well, they're clearly making shifts for a reason here. I am wondering, and I'll get to it later, but it was very telegraphed in my opinion that Daniel was going to win. I literally started writing the post as the show started because I was like, clearly Daniel Bryan's winning the title tonight, and they've got something in store here.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it was a little too telegraphed in my opinion in that regard. To furthermore dampen, which furthermore bummed me out because I feel like Daniel Bryan reclaiming the world championship after all that should be the biggest freaking deal.
I agree. That was a little weird. We'll talk about it in a second or a little bit down the road.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy took on Cien Almas. I thought this was a good match. I thought they both had nice chemistry going back and forth. Almas, I think, just a little bit off on some of the shots, but then eventually Hardy took care of him by pinfall. I actually thought they had nice chemistry. I don't know how you felt, but Almas seemed to be in charge the whole time, which was nice, giving him showcase, blah, blah, blah. Zelina's injured, so there's only so much you can do here. What'd you think of this?
Yeah, it was a good match.
Yeah.
I like when a newer person faces an older talent, like it's a fresh thing, like so I can't hate on that. I hate on when I see a match I've seen a million times.
Right.
So yeah, this was a nice match. I know people are bummed that Andrade keeps losing.
What are we doing with him?
It's weird because, and I don't know. I don't think this is what they're gonna do.
There's a natural heel, damn it.
Well, I don't think this is what they're gonna do, but Andrade didn't really see. They almost, and I hate that they can't do this, but like, it's a bummer when an organic thing that happens in NXT can't be replicated on the main roster.
Yeah, man.
Because it's like Bayley. Bayley had advanced so far that I guess it would have been silly to go backwards to her character of being like the starstruck wrestler.
Right.
Because I love that character, and I think that's partly why she was so beloved by the NXT audience. And I think it's partly why when she came to the main roster, not everyone understood the gimmick of Bayley because they didn't see that part. And WWE kind of expects people to know that she already went through that.
Right.
And I don't think everyone did, and it kind of messed up. I think that's a crucial part of her character, in my opinion. Like when she marks out over Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes and all that kind of stuff. So with Andrade, he didn't take off until he went on a losing streak.
Yeah.
He was this hyped up thing, lost a bunch. Then Zelina came in and was like, hey, I'm going to make you a champion. And she did. And that was the storyline. And it played out well.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they can find some way to do that with Andrade where it's like, Zelina's like, hey, you're losing focus since we've come to the main roster. Like, I'm going to whip you into shape. And they somehow get back to that where like Zelina is like, or maybe they show him partying again like they used to, and Zelina catches him partying, and that's why he's losing or something like that. Because I think that they need to get back to that.
Yeah, I agree with you. It feels like they have to kind of maybe they're trying to manufacture that as it goes along, and he takes the losses.
And he's in there with top talent.
We'll see. Yeah, he's not fighting. He's not jobbing anymore. Not fighting Sin Cara all over again. So he's fighting real wrestlers.
It's not like it's like the tag division on Raw where it's like they're stopping and starting. He's like involved with top talent. Yeah. He's clearly being, in my opinion, groomed for future success. But I hate seeing some of the I would like to see now.
Yeah.
I don't need it in the future,
Yeah, exactly. Well, we move on to Miz. Miz talking backstage with Paige, saying he doesn't want the stench of Daniel Bryan on the team, so he tries to kick Rey Mysterio off.
I love that.
In front of Paige. And poor Rey. Rey's always great at taking this shit and then turning it right back around. I was like, wait, you're kicking me out? And so Paige says, you want him off the team? You're going to have to fight him off the team. Miz in full, whatever that is he wears with those sunglasses and those bandanas. You know what struck me this time? I think he's past that outfit.
He needs to move on from that outfit.
Yeah,
I'm not into it either.
I'm like, it's you. You're wearing suits. You're on a reality show. You're moving into some more serious shit. You're trying to be an establishment. What do you call it? Like a businessman with your multiple revenue streams. I think wearing that goofy shit looks like some kid trying too hard, and you don't need to look that way anymore. Like you're past it.
Totally. He looks like he's like a Johnny Depp in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know,
I can see that.
I'm not feeling it either.
Yeah.
I'm completely with you. It just looks goofy.
Yeah.
I just like it's hard to take him seriously when he's wearing all that stuff.
Exactly. You can come out and not wear. Change your gear. That's what I feel like. You should need to change his gear.
I loved in this segment. I loved Samoa Joe just standing there menacingly the whole time. Like he really had no purpose being there other than he's just on the team, and he was just kind of standing there like when he was like, I don't want Rey on my team, and he was kind of standing like, yep, Rey Mysterio should be off the team. Yep, you know. And Joe's so good right now. So like I like that just his presence can entertain me. It's like he didn't say anything, and I was still laughing at him in that segment.
It's the frustrating conceit of Survivor Series is that you have all these guys who have issues with each other. All of a sudden, for brand, are like on these teams and have to because like the general managers can control them all the other times. Like they can't. So all of a sudden they can control them for Survivor Series. It's that conceit that's really hard for me sometimes because we've kind of moved past Survivor Series, to be honest with you, as a wrestling community. I feel like it's fun to see these matches, but I also think you start to manufacture them like fighting for their brand. These people don't give two shits about their brands. They're about fighting for the status and their own brand, which is the Samoa Joe brand or the AJ Styles brand or the Paige brand or that kind of thing is what I feel like.
With you being an 80s wrestling guy.
Yeah.
You know, back in those days when it was kind of like a thing, you know.
It was great.
Those teams.
Yeah.
Didn't work
No, it was heel teams, face teams. It was never like a mixture. Never a mixture.
And was it like were they placed together or did they used to like
No, there were no general managers putting together. They would come together like organically. It would like it'd be a promo, like backstage. Well, I want to ask you to join the team, be part of our team. Blah blah blah.
Similar to like the Usos thing, like they did,
kind of like what the Usos did. Yeah.
Okay,
and then of course the
more 80s way,
right? And the old rules are, you fight till the last man is pinned and that's whoever's left with the most guys at the end is the winner. And that is when I watch this now, it just doesn't feel correct.
Yeah,
these divisions are so strong. Ryan.
Well, it's the brand supremacy thing that like I that bothers me that we're supposed to believe that one time a year these two teams care, and I look at it like I also don't understand sports, so like so I always attribute it to me being like I don't understand sports. Like I don't like teams.
Right.
I liked wrestling when I was in high school because it was a solo sport. Yeah. I had to rely on other people. It was a solo sport. So the whole team concept is kind of like a little bit foreign to me, and so I just always assumed it was that. But you being a sports guy is even confused by it.
And I get what they're going for because of course everyone plays for the NBA, but they play in the Western Conference versus the Eastern Conference. But those guys don't give it. They're not trying to win the title for the Western Conference.
Yeah, because like even during the All-Star game, do they really put in like full effort during the All-Star game?
No.
Right?
Oh hell no! People get mad if you play defense. People get upset. Yeah. Oh, no. Players get upset if you start playing real defense. Oh, yeah. Because if you start playing real defense, players get upset because they think you're trying to show them up in front of the fans, and then shit gets real. And so there have been moments, there have been like minutes within All-Star games where people like clamp down, and then all of a sudden it becomes a real basketball game, and then you see street ball popping out. And that is fun to watch.
That's cool.
But it's really rare because it's insulting to the players. So, yeah. But with something like this, obviously everything is scripted, but it's still frustrating to watch.
Well, it's also like,
this conceit.
Yeah, well, it's also like it's just when they involve characters that I don't believe would give two shits about brand supremacy.
Yes, like Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe
give two shits about brand supremacy.
Shits about whether SmackDown or Raw wins. You don't give crap, you know? Like, so that's, I think, where I struggle with it. What's the next segment?
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm just wondering before
they fought Mysterio, Miz, and then Miz ended up losing to Mysterio, so Mysterio is on the team. Then Becky Lynch comes out.
Okay.
So that's,
Okay. So, the Becky Lynch thing.
Yeah.
Just set up the Becky Lynch thing before I start railing on this thing.
All right, let's do that. So that finishes up. Miz loses to Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio does, but then Randy Orton comes in and tries to attack him, which I liked. I like Randy coming in trying to attack Mysterio, finding no one else. He just RKO's Miz. That was really nice.
Ray versus Orton's going to be a fun feud.
That's going to be a good.
I'm into it.
Yeah. Those guys are old school. They know what they're doing with that kind of stuff. So we'll see how that plays out. Becky Lynch now. This comes out. Paige comes out and introduces everybody every single woman on the roster with all their music. They all come out to their Titantron. It's really cool. And then Becky gets a full introduction. She comes out, talks about how she can still beat Ronnie, quote unquote Ronnie, with her fractured face. And I like what he said, you think you're the baddest, you're not the baddest bitch on the planet, you're the luckiest. I mean, all just great promo stuff. And then, she has to select who's going to replace her in this match because she's not medically cleared to fight. And she walks down the line. I'm surprised the Iconics were even consideration. Walks down the line and then selects Charlotte. And it was a really weird moment. And then she hugged her, and then you're like, "What the f is going on here, man?"
Thank God you were on my side.
Yeah,
with this one.
I didn't like that at all.
Okay.
Don't give me this shit for weeks and then give me this hug bullshit. It makes no sense. The hug wasn't necessary. Selecting Charlotte makes sense. Top of the brand, you get it. You want to win, you select the best of all those ladies. She's the best. Giving her the impromptu hug. And then having the announcer, I forget the announcer who does SmackDown all the time. Who's the guy that...
Tom Phillips?
Yeah, Tom Phillips going, those guys were best friends, or those ladies were best... I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? It's just weird.
Okay, I am so glad I'm not alone there, because that hug is part of where my theory came from. Now,
that's fair.
Now that you set all that up, I'll go back to where I was saying. The brand supremacy thing. I feel like this was done partly because of the brand supremacy thing, which is... mind-numbing.
Yeah.
Mind-numbing. Becky Lynch, her whole thing this whole time has been that she doesn't give a shit about any of these people anymore.
Right.
She doesn't give a shit about any of these wrestlers.
She was screwed over by the WWE.
She's screwed over by all of them.
By SmackDown, by everybody.
Now, all of a sudden she doesn't care about any of them.
Right.
There's a reason why when they did the invasion one night before.
Yeah.
She wasn't in the pictures in the limo with all or the arm the SUV with all of them or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that, even though she was probably sitting right next to all of them.
Yeah.
It's because her character wasn't supposed to give a shit about any of these people. It's why everyone has loved Becky Lynch right now. It's that she doesn't care about Charlotte. And yes, I am with you in the fact that it makes sense to pick Charlotte. I get that.
Yeah.
She she knows that Charlotte tapped out Asuka. If you go if Ronda really wants Ronda Rousey to lose, sorry, if Becky Lynch really wants Ronda Rousey to lose, she goes, well, there's Charlotte and there's Asuka.
Right.
There's your two choices, right? Third place Iconics. No, I'm just kidding. Aaron made me say that when we were talking on the phone before we started. He was like, "You got to throw that one in."
That bastard! Turner, you suck.
But you look at the two and you go, well, in storyline here, Charlotte has made Asuka tap out.
Yes.
So you pick Charlotte. I get that.
Yeah.
But you don't have to give a shit while doing it.
Yeah.
The whole thing is that, I get that Stone Cold and The Rock had this long, epic rivalry, but I have a hard time believing you would have ever seen, and I know that I don't want to compare the two, but I have a hard time believing you would have seen Stone Cold say, "Oh, I can't be in this match," and then go hug the guy who he chose as a replacement.
Quite the opposite. He'd be like, "I choose you,
but I'm
you better get the job done.
You better get the job done, or I'm gonna stun your ass."
Right. Don't make me come out of the stands and kick your ass if you don't get the job done. Yeah.
The only way this makes sense is if it's because Becky's still gonna get involved. So there's a huge pop in LA when Becky comes out, and she did that to keep Charlotte off her game. And then she's still going to come attack Charlotte.
Right.
They do that to continue Charlotte versus Becky for a few months until they finally get back to Ronda versus Becky at WrestleMania or Royal Rumble or something like that.
Okay.
But I hated it. That hug.
I know, man.
That hug was just like.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and the thing is, you're not a fan already of when wrestlers hug after matches.
I really don't like it.
You don't like it. It breaks kayfabe.
It's not never,
right,
but sparingly. I don't like it used that often, and they always have the women do it. They not always, but they love having the women do it to show the girl power or whatever, female solidarity. Right. I get it because there's a long history of showing that women all hate each other. They're catty. They hate each other. So I get trying to erase that stigma. These are just strong, powerful women that respect each other. I get it. But you didn't need that here at all.
Yeah, but I also think we need to move on from that. I think we've had enough of the hugging everybody, hugging. This is professional wrestling. Equality is it's the same on both sides. And if it's the same on both sides, then women need to don't need to hug after those matches and like the Four Horse. I didn't mind when the Four Horsewomen did it because like
totally
they were getting
great moment.
That was an awesome moment.
Great moment, classic.
Right? But this kind of thing, this is breaking the storylines that you've established. It's breaking the drama of what you've told the fans is happening.
And not only that, but it's one of the biggest.
And you can do it backstage. You can do it backstage.
But it's one of the biggest storylines that WWE has been served up accidentally in freaking forever.
Yeah.
Why on earth would you negate all of it for this hug?
So I want to know if she did it on her own.
From what I heard, it was a scripted directive.
Wow.
And I heard from one source that they were not pumped on it.
Neither of them.
No, they didn't. They also agreed that it didn't make any sense.
Wow,
that's what I heard from a source.
That was probably the 5-hour argument. Trying to convince them both. They're like, no.
But at the end of the day, there's certain people that are in charge. And so
you got to do it. And they sign your paychecks.
I just don't think it makes any sense whatsoever. Like, baffled me to no end. I saw X-Pac tweeted saying that he thought the hug was bad too and that it didn't fit at all. So I'm not completely alone in the hug.
Right.
I think that it's funny for me, since I hated this and the Daniel Bryan turn so much.
Yeah.
I think that's why I was so openly saying like how much I hated this show.
Right. But let's have a conversation before we jump into the Daniel Bryan ages, because we don't need to talk about New Day, Big Show. Nobody cares about that.
No.
I did some deep dive in this morning. Like I woke up and I was like, I want to see this video that you were talking about, the close up of the Becky Lynch. That's a punch. And I'm not here to bury Nia, but I am here to have an honest conversation like I would when Rollins hurt Sting. I was super pissed at Rollins, and I even tweeted that maybe he should stop because, or they should look at him because he had injured a couple other wrestlers. So this isn't a gender thing. I want to make very clear before we start. But this is frustrating. Nia is getting a reputation as a person who injures wrestlers. She injured Alexa. There's rumors that she injured her in concussion like last time. There's rumor that she injured Bayley with that shoulder. She injured Selena recently, and now she injured Becky Lynch. And this is the hardest injury because you can forgive the other ones. Maybe she held on Bayley too long and Bayley hit her shoulder. Maybe Bayley could have braced herself. The Zelina thing, you could maybe forgive that. The Charlotte Flair thing.
The Zelina one was pretty rough.
That was rough, right? She didn't, and then the Charlotte Flair thing.
Seemed a little negligent.
Yes, and the Charlotte Flair thing too, because she didn't hold, and her face hit that mat twice, both in the ring and then outside with her somersault.
Yeah.
But I don't blame too much on the somersault because Charlotte never hits that damn somersault. But when you get to this situation, when you see the video, you see Nia cock from way back and full punch. Now, you're taught, and a lot of wrestlers commented on this online on Twitter, you're taught to hold back your punches, especially if you're hitting the top dog of whatever's happening in the storyline. And so, to me, I wonder if Nia knew what she was doing and did it out of jealousy or did it out of frustration, or maybe Becky hit her in the back of the head too hard and Nia punched her in retaliation as a reflex. We saw that with Strowman and Lesnar when Strowman hit Lesnar too hard and then with the knee, and then Lesnar
Brock just reacted.
Brock just cocked him, and you saw Strowman almost got knocked out for real. So I wonder if this is something that is legit. Like there's legit issues here with Nia.
I mean, you make valid points. I mean, these are all things that happen. I can't disagree with a lot of the things you said there. It's not like, these are all very valid points that you have made. There was a video of Lana in the exact same brawl.
Oh, yeah.
And Lana punching Dana Brooke. And everyone made fun of the fact that Lana was like not really making contact with Dana Brooke. But that's what happens in big brawls like that in pro wrestling for television, because you're not all in the shot.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. And they weren't even in the main shot. That video came out because a fan in the crowd happened to be shooting it. So I don't understand why she was putting so much force into it.
I mean, she went from way back here.
Yeah,
it wasn't like a spin around. Do you
think it was a punch or an elbow? I thought it looked like an elbow.
A punch to me.
I couldn't tell, but I guess now that Nia, I saw her reaction.
Yeah.
She posted a thing showing her knuckle was kind of. Did you not see
Nia posted?
Oh, you didn't see that? Oh, you didn't see Nia's tweet today? Oh, you're gonna be so mad. When
That's even worse.
Well, obviously it's in character, but
right, but
you
and maybe those ladies talked about it afterwards.
She posted. They had to. She posted a picture of her knuckles and said, "Hey," and there's a cut on her knuckle.
Yeah.
And it said, "Hey, we don't deliver mail. Things happen. Is anyone gonna ask me how my fist feels?"
Oh my God.
And then Becky responded and said, "You gave me your best sucker punch, but I got back up to destroy your whole roster. They won't let me fight, but I'll get back up from that too. It's what I do. So enjoy your one free shot, because as bad as my memory is now, I haven't forgotten you, bitch."
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Once again, Becky killing it. That's a fantastic response. Well, okay. Well,
wait. Speaking of Becky responses, because I honestly don't even think there's really a full debate there. Do I think that they're going to send Nia back to NXT or like that? No, she's cousins with The Rock. I don't think that she's going to get any kind of big, setback or anything like that from it. To be honest with you, she's probably still going to get the exact same push she was getting before. I mean, I don't know that. That's not inside info. I feel like with pro wrestling, it's pro wrestling. They're gonna say, yes, I agree. You don't want to hit the top dog, someone who like is a moneymaker. You don't want to do that, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it was an accident. I don't think there was any malicious intent behind it whatsoever. Okay. I think it was an accident. I think you may be right.
Can these accidents keep happening, though?
No. And I do think it's a problem, and I do hope that someone says something to her about it.
Yeah. Because she doesn't sell. Sorry. She doesn't put butts in seats. She doesn't sell merch. If she's damaging people who do, then this is an issue. When she hurt Bayley was still near the top of the thing. Zelina is building. Alexa obviously near the top.
Well,
and then Becky here.
I think with terms of like doesn't sell seats, I don't think. I mean, like.
I'm saying that person is now damaging potential money down the road.
Agreed.
That's my point.
She's messing with an independent revenue stream that's on the rise in the company right now. If Stone Cold
did this to The Rock, I wouldn't be upset about it. The fact that Nia did it, that bothers me. If Alicia Fox was injuring top dog wrestlers across the roster, that would be an issue.
No, I completely agree with you there. I do think that someone needs to have a talk with her about or work with her a little bit, because look, I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a pro wrestler. I've never done pro wrestling, but yes, you're right. Like they're when Brie Bella hurt one person,
people lost their minds.
Nia Jax has like this list of people now that like you're seeing, So
I'm way more forgiving of the Brie situation because Brie's not known for doing that. But with Nia,
that's how I feel.
Yeah,
I mean, Nia is starting to build up a little bit of reputation.
Right. Seth hasn't hurt anybody since Sting, so
true.
That dissipates. It dissipates.
He's better when you're. Okay. Did you see Ronda's response to Becky on Instagram this morning?
I did not. For the Ronnie thing?
I don't know what they are trying to do with Ronda here.
Is it not working?
But this
is it heel?
Can I just tell you this much?
Please.
Yeah, 100% a heel. She posted this giant heel thing on Instagram. Can I just say, if you post all of this, you look like you're gotten to.
Holy shit! Listen, put that on the camera. Yeah, look.
I don't think it'll show through, but
it's a lot.
It's literally like a whole wall of text. I'll read you guys some of it. It says, Becky Lynch, I'm really sorry to hear the Millennial Man will not be showing up for her legally arranged ass whooping on November 18th at the Staples Center. Man. Unfortunately, now everyone knows if someone hauls off and punches you for real, your face implodes. I suggest you keep practicing your tough guy faces in the mirror. Should be very effective physical therapy. And have fun watching Korean soap operas on Netflix or whatever the hell the millennial does with their free time.
What the
Don't worry. I'm not the backstabbing, cheap-shotting, ambushing, cowardly type. So you're perfectly safe to take your time and heal up until your figurative balls have dropped and you're finally ready for your comeuppance. I want you 100% healed up, prepared, and looking me in the eye when the bell rings. Let me know when you're done healing your boo-boos and ready for me to serve you your ass on a silver platter with your avocado toast. I do have to admit, the Millennial Man is stunningly conniving. She poked the bear and ran like a bat out of hell when the bear awoke. Feeding me her favorite frenemy and fellow four horsewoman, Charlotte, is a new level of manipulative cowardice, even for the Millennial Man. Charlotte is a super fight, and I've always wanted to fight her, but she's just the stand-in for beating Becky Lynch has coming to her this Sunday. I'll be sending the champ a choice piece of Charlotte as a souvenir. What?
None of it makes sense.
None of that was cool.
None of it.
At all.
None of it was badass at all. Because you know what? And here's the truth. And this is for you kids out there watching. If you need to write a whole missive, you have been gotten to. If you need to write a whole missive, you can't say, I don't care, it doesn't bother me, I don't read it. That's bullshit. It clearly bothers you. Now, take it from two Latino trash talkers who know if you talk too much, it's because you've been gotten to.
I've been
on both sides.
Like yesterday.
Yeah.
I was getting so much shit on social media for saying that I hated the Daniel Bryan thing and I hated the Becky Lynch hug thing. And like I said, I at one point looked at my thing after I finished work, I had 600 replies. And I said to myself, I'm getting better at these situations where I said, you know what? I don't even respond to half these. Like, barely, I don't even respond to like any of these people. I'll pick and choose a few here, read the people I actually follow back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because if you start, I've learned that if you start responding incessantly to everyone about your point, you look like you're gotten to.
Exactly.
So this was perfect example of that. Yeah. But Becky, as you'd expect,
responded.
The ether that we've all been. Look, I love Ronda Rousey.
This has replaced the rap battles. She's replacing rap battles, right? Rap feuds.
It really feels that way.
Yeah.
It's Becky Lynch and 8 Mile, basically.
This is old school rap beefs, man. I love this shit. This is Mo D and LL.
I love Ronda Rousey, but I knew that the more and more she was doing this on social media with like the poking the bear, so to speak, as she just said about Becky Lynch.
She's out of her element.
I knew someone was gonna pull out this jugular line. She said, Ronnie.
This is Becky.
Ronnie, too long, didn't read, which is I love. She gave her the TLDR. But then she said, great starting point. Ronnie, TLDR. When I got my face broke, I got up, owned you, then showed up the next day looking to fight some more. When you got your face broke, you hid for a year under your blanket, or your blankie. Your mind is as weak as your jaw, and I'm going to move heaven and earth to come destroy them both.
Damn. That's fire, son.
Oh, man, that was so good.
Sentence and then eviscerates you. My God. Becky is the bomb.
Dude, that killed me. Like, I was like, oh, she did it. Someone did it. I thought it was going to be Nikki Bella to go for, but no, it made much more sense for Becky to be the one that goes there. For sure.
Wow.
Yeah, so good. So yeah, we talked about it yesterday, so I don't want to give too much more speculation on like what we think.
Yep.
But they didn't strip her the title, so
but we did nail that they were going to be Charlotte. It was probably going to be
Charlotte.
Yeah.
But I still firmly believe that you could probably do it at Royal Rumble, but I am of the firm belief that
it's got to be a WrestleMania.
They have said there should be women main eventing WrestleMania for a long time, and so much of that, I wouldn't want to see that. Oh, it'd be too forced. This would not be forced in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
If WWE could somehow not fuck it up by April, they could have like a huge match on their hands.
Yeah.
Just like, and like, I feel like, man, if you could and I don't know who the person is, I'm just, if there were that Mike Tyson element, it would be like an even bigger deal.
Yeah.
Like if they could get Holly Holm in Becky's corner, or like,
Jesus,
or like
Nunes,
or both of them.
Yeah. Nunes killed her.
Oh man, like Becky doing training with those two before the fight. Like, man, I'd be so into that.
And just like popcorn, eating popcorn, watching those matches together. All of it. Oh, I like when you got it right here. Let's slow that down. Let's rewind and watch that again. Oh.
But
I think Ronda's out of her element.
And agreed. I think she's out of her element too.
I don't think she can shit talk. I don't think she can handle it.
And she said it wasn't her social media person and another person. I don't believe that. It's got to be a social media person. Yeah. There's no way she's writing full blocks like that unless she's completely gotten to, and which wouldn't make sense because it's a storyline thing and they're not actually hating each other.
Right.
I don't know, but I really, I'm still on board with everything Becky Lynch is doing.
Yeah.
Just that was like, in my opinion, like a big misstep that I hope they notice was a misstep.
Yeah.
The hug, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe to turn that around, if Ronda does beat Charlotte, Ronda walks out of the ring, blah, 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 then Becky shows up and Becky kicks the shit out of Charlotte for losing. then she's back in the heel situation, and she's back in that, and then you start the blood feud there a little bit because you don't need to go title versus title until WrestleMania.
I agree.
So you keep them fighting for whatever reason.
That's what I think they should do too.
Yeah.
Just to, like, make that hug go away forever.
Yeah, just to kill that hug.
Unless the only thing I can think of is that their Hail Mary is they want to get to 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen sooner
At WrestleMania, 4-on-4.
maybe.
Man, I don't want 4-on-4 highlight main eventing WrestleMania. Dude.
I don't think that's a worthy of a WrestleMania main event anyway.
Nope.
You know, I love the 4 horsewomen,
But can you,
both of them.
That's the thing. Can you recall an 8-person tag, regardless of gender, that goes down in history?
No,
Not really.
No, and like, I am a fan of, like I said, both 4 horsewomen of wrestling.
Yeah, of
MMA
course.
of wrestling. I like both of them a lot.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I think that's a worthy main event of WrestleMania.
No, you need way more build-up. There's not enough time.
Maybe a
Not
Royal
enough time.
Rumble so that they
Rumble,
can
can accept it.
get back to Becky versus Ronda or something like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a marquee thing to do WrestleMania.
I am interested to see if Shayna Baszler loses the title this weekend, though, at TakeOver. Because I feel like if she loses the title at TakeOver, we might maybe be seeing her called up sooner than later to get involved in all of this.
All right, we'll see what happens. All right, let's finish this up real quick with the AJ Styles losing the belt to Daniel Bryan. He was stepping on on AJ's face. That was unsettling to watch. I don't know how you fake that, but it was going nuts.
It's one of my favorite moves.
It's unsettling.
Yeah, Super Dragon does it in PWG, and Kyle O'Reilly used to do it in PWG, and I love that move. It just looks so brutal,
and it's so dismissive of you as a person.
Yeah, it totally is. It's like the
get the hell out of me.
It's like the surfboard stomp, but even more intense.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, good call. All right, so he ended up winning against the dude, and then Bryan is now the WWE champion. And so you look at this thing and you're like you said earlier, Ryan, does it make any sense? He came back. It was such a big deal. People went crazy. He came back to yes, all of this. You put him in a terrible feud with Kaz. Then you maybe try to save him with Miz, and it's really working. And then that kind of dissipates. And then now this whole situation with AJ Styles, and then boom, this is how he wins the title. And it's so uneventful. It's so anticlimactic that I feel like there were 2 big missteps in this show. Even though overall I was fine watching it, the hug and this, right?
Yes, absolutely. In my opinion, at least, I just feel like Daniel Bryan winning the title is like a huge deal.
Yeah, why win it as a heel?
Why win it as a heel on a throwaway thing? It's not like Daniel Bryan had the character of Daniel Bryan had exhausted all options,
right,
and wasn't able to get
like
back
Johnny
there.
Wrestling. Johnny Wrestling then turned a heel eventually after all these attempts, and all these matches.
It's like you had one title match, right?
Yeah.
Hasn't it only been one or 2 title matches made at most? Mm-hmm. You haven't even been a year.
Yeah.
You haven't exhausted all your options. And I get it. Like, that's how bad he wanted the title. So he just snapped in that moment.
Right.
We're going to get snap Daniel Bryan, where he's just angry and then,
Yeah. But this is Ambrose. This is the same thing with Ambrose. Both of these heel turns, I don't think they're going to do a good job with them.
Well, to me, it's similar, like you said, to Johnny Gargano with his heel turn. Mm-hmm. Like, at least Johnny Gargano had kind of exhausted all his options.
I mean, he really had. The only thing left was a match out in the middle of, in the middle of nowhere with all kinds of spikes and barbed wire available. That's all that was left.
Yeah, I get that in a sense. I just don't feel like that same story has been told with Daniel.
Yeah.
Like, Daniel is someone, like I said, who is an inspirational story.
Yeah.
So it's like, why turn the actual inspirational person into a heel that just like it ruins that whole moment? And I also don't think that we've ever Daniel Bryan's entertaining as a heel. He's great as a heel, but why?
Yeah.
I just don't think he was stale. I didn't see people saying he was stale. Yeah, his booking wasn't done great. Mm-hmm. So this just adds to that.
Yeah.
I don't see this as being like, oh, they're saving stale Daniel Bryan. No, I see it as they booked his return terribly.
Yeah.
And now they have continued to book his return terribly. So much so, they didn't know what to do. So they had to turn one of their biggest baby faces that they have had in the past 10 years heel. Which is so silly to me. Like, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. Yeah. Daniel Bryan was fun as a heel sometimes, but they've never really taken him seriously as a heel either. Like, he was booked as like a joke every time he was a heel champion. That's when he got the match with Sheamus at WrestleMania, the 30-second match or whatever. So it's or less than that or whatever. So it's like I hated it. I hated everything about it.
Yeah.
Hated it.
I don't disagree with you. I know it was frustrating to watch it all go down, and I was surprised when they gave him the belt. I really was. I didn't think the signs. I just didn't read the signs that you were reading. I just thought, oh, this is all set up, and then AJ's going to beat him, and then Daniel's going to get it, and they're going to go fine as co-captains into the situation.
And yeah, it was surprising.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes I don't like when they care more about a surprise than they do about long-term storytelling that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like they wasted a 10-year-long storyline here just so that they could make Survivor Series a little more interesting.
Yeah,
like I don't,
it's the short-term satisfaction and sacrificing the long-term goal, long-term satisfaction.
Yes.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely. And now,
yeah.
What's AJ doing at Survivor Series?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
He's literally doing nothing.
Yeah. That's true. It's a good point.
What's so like?
Isn't he but he's captain of the team, right? Isn't he captain of the team?
I don't think he is.
What?
No.
Do you think he took the Daniel Bryan? No, because I think Daniel Bryan now fights Lesnar, but now AJ's still captain of the team.
But
he
they
focus on the team.
because they took Daniel off, and then remember they made Miz
Miz
full
is the
captain by himself.
You're right. Miz is captain.
So what's AJ doing? AJ's been like the face of SmackDown for the past year.
Yeah, I got to return.
Not on the show.
I'm going to return my 2K19 game now. You bastards. Well, we'll see what happens. I do look forward to a Lesnar-Bryan match.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a fun match. But unfortunately, the way we got there is a little convoluted.
Yes.
Even the other side, people were upset that Lesnar won the match again, won the belt again. It should have been Strowman, and the Strowman coming in and asking for a title shot. Sometimes I wish the Schmoedown worked like that. I could just go up to Christian and go, I want a title shot right now. Give me a title shot.
You don't want that because then anyone can just get your title now.
That's true. That's true. You got to earn it, and that's how it works. All right. Well, anyway, that's our Collider Body Slam SmackDown Live recap. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Ryan, tell them where it can follow everything.
ProWrestlingSheet.com is the website. At Wrestling Sheet on all social media. I'm at Ryan Satin on all social media. And you can check out the video of this show on youtube.com/c/Wrestling Sheet. That's where we're sharing all our video content now. Please subscribe there. Share the videos. Like them. Comment. All that good stuff. It helps us out a lot. And if you only want to listen to the audio, go to Podcast One. Wrestling Sheet Radio is the feed. We got other shows in there. Because of the fire last week out here, still out here. I was not at home, so I didn't post top 5. James was at a wedding too, but they'll be back this weekend. And I talked to Aaron, trying to see when they're going to be coming back as well. I'll keep you guys updated on the future of Best of the Rest as well. But for now, you can check out the other shows that we do, the recap, Wrestling Sheet Radio, all that good stuff.
Yep, and you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And find a moment to send Aaron Turner some love at AT Titanium. He's gone through a recent loss. I don't think he's talked about it too publicly, but he's gone through a recent loss. So send him some love. Tell him you miss him and tell him you want him back on the airwaves. I think he'd appreciate that because then I don't have anything to give him shit about if he doesn't get back on those things. So yeah, I'm talking to you son of a... Anyway, all right. Thanks everybody for watching our Collider Body Slam SmackDown Live recap. We'll be back next week with more recaps. And of course, we'll be talking about the Survivor Series pay-per-view happening this weekend, which I think Ryan's going to live.
Yes, sir.
And maybe someone else. We'll see. All right. Talk to you guys then. Bye.
ProWrestlingSheet.com